Kasama po natin ang ating mga miyembro ng EXECOM. We have here Yusek Diosdado San Antonio, Yusek Annalyn Sevilla, Yusek Jess Mateo, at of course ang ating kalihim na Secretary Leonor Magtualis Briones. At makakasama natin ngayong hapon na ito ang mga guro at mga mag-aaral, no? Pati ang DepEd Teachers Union na kanina ay nagbigay ng statement of support at nagbigay rin ng pahayag tungkol sa readiness po ng ating mga paaralan. We acknowledge Ms. Cynthia Villarin, ang pambansang pangulo po ng DepEd Teachers Union, si Mayor Jaime Ataide, Mayor of Luna Isabela, si Ma'am Maria Cristina Robles, Principal 4 ng Navotas National High School, si Ma'am Eloisa Dizon, Principal po ng Santiago City National High School, si Ma'am Ivy Yi Graho, Principal po ng Mangayon Elementary School, si Ma'am Rosa Agocoy, Principal ng Don Ruben Ecleo Memorial National High School, and Pastor Joseph Manuel, Director po ng Shining Light Academy, Sir Melbert Baran, Teacher in Charge po ng Kalay IP School, Ma'am Leonarda Turalba, Head Teacher po ng Sukaw Elementary School, si Ma'am Marilu Nonato, Principal ng Malaya Elementary School, Sir Nover Cesar Escabarte, Division ALS e-learning coordinator po natin sa Tagumpay Paling Eskwelahan ALS Center. And of course, si Ma'am Epifania Dinlasan, ang principal po ng Don Luis Hidalgo Memorial School. So yun nga po, dito pa rin yung ating mga kasamahan na media partners. We're still live po and live on DepEd Philippines as well. So let me start this press conference by continuing po sa pagtatanong ng ating mga kasamahan sa media. Ang unang magtatanong po ay si Ginoong Oscar Oida. Sir, ng GMA7. Go ahead po.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Secretary. Good afternoon. This is Oscar Oida. Ang question ko lang, Secretary, no, I understand there are 22.9 million students na handang-handa ng mag-aral.
22.9.
Yes. Tanong ko lang, Secretary, no, hindi rin naman lingid sa kaalaman nyo yung mga nagka-cast ng doubt at hanggang ngayon nagdududa pa rin sa pagka-ready ng DepEd dito sa blended education, no, or distance learning. And with the glitches na nangyari kanina dun sa kick-off, na 9 o'clock dapat magsisimula yung kick-off pero there are unavoidable technical glitches, hindi kaya lalong nagpatibay yung doubt nila sa readiness ng DepEd. Ano pong reaksyon nyo lang, ma'am?
Hindi naman DepEd ang pinanggalingan ng problema na yan. And besides, under blended learning, you have a choice. If online does not work, if you have glitches in the delivery of the learning modalities, you have other alternatives. Largely, yung sinasabi natin sa TV, sa radyo, kasi halimbawa solar radio, may mga municipalities ngayon na nag-set up sila ng radio stations nila na sarili na short lang ang distances ng mako-cover niyan at hindi na kailangan ang halimbawa ICT powers and all that. At saka ang nalas talaga, if all else fails, then you have the printed modules. Kasi we have the impression na ang ating blended learning, isa lang ang online, and if online fails, then the entire thing collapses. Then that's not blended. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng blended, iba't ibang mga paraan. Kagaya ng blender ng mami mo o ng misis mo, iba't ibang ingredients pinaghalo yan at saka makukuha mo yung flavor na gusto mo at iba ang lalabas, iba kaysa original. So, hindi natin masasabi ay dahil may glitch kanina, therefore blended education will fail. I think that I beg to humbly disagree. Dahil there are other ways. Yun ang paulit-ulit naming sinasabi na kung isang strategy, isang modality, hindi oobra, mayroon pang menu of other options. Magandang ehemplo halimbawa, ang Sarangani ang nakikita naming options radyo. Pero mayroon ng sa DepEd din na sila nag-develop ng paraan kung saan mapasok nila ang mga tablets, etc. Other ways. So, iba't ibang paraan. Kaya nga sinasabi namin, bawat rehiyon, iba yung mix ng kanilang approach. Halimbawa, yung empanada, ibang lugar doon sa north, depende yan sa mix ng ingredients. Mayroong may baboy, mayroong wala, mayroong may patatas, mayroong wala, mayroong maraming asin, mayroong wala. Depende sa pangangailangan, depende sa preference, depende sa effectiveness ng paraan na yan. So, kung hindi obra ang online dahil nagkakaroon ng connectivity problems, hindi sabihin na babagsak na yung buong Department of Education. Hindi ibig sabihin na babagsak na yung buong curriculum. Dahil alam naman na yung mga ganyang bagay nangyayari sa developing country like the Philippines. O kayo, galing kayo sa GMA, familiar kayo sa mga ganong klaseng glitches. Pero nahahanapan palagi ng paraan. Nahahanapan yung sinabi kanina na one of the speakers, I think it was the former mayor of Navotas. And then yung sinabi ni Senator Gatchalian, yung imposible gawing posible. Maski sasabihin mo, ay hindi ganyan, napakahina yung DepEd na yan, etc. etc. So therefore, hindi na lang tayo gagalaw dahil we are overcome by our fears, no? So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So tingnan natin kung anong mangyayari sa August 24. Kung hindi obra would you believe it? I've always thought, just from impressions, na NCR will be predominantly online. Then it turns out, nung kami ay nag-survey during the enrollment period, it turns out na ang mga parents at mga bata gusto pa rin nila yung mayroong face-to-face component. At saka, gusto nila talaga yung modular. So kung susundin mo yan, napakabigat ng financial implications. Kasi kaya nga sinabi doon sa Sarangani na dihamak na ang laki-laki ng difference yan sa cost. Pero susundin natin yan. This is where the local governments come in. Like what Navotas is doing, like what the Luna is also doing, na tumutulong sila sa paggawa ng mga printed materials. Dahil yun ang kinakailangan para magiging effective yung education. So perhaps we should look at it in that way. Blended learning is not exclusively online. It can be offline, it can be TV, it can be radio, and we will keep on repeating it day by day, hour after hour, minute by minute, until we accept that blended learning is not exclusively online. In the same manner that we are also saying that blended learning is not exclusively face-to-face. Kasi dahil sa situation natin. At blended learning is not uniform. Matagal na yung sinabi ni Congressman Salceda, sinabi din yun ni Senator Amy, sa panahon ngayon, walang one size fits all na will be marching to the same tune. Dahil magkaiba yung sitwasyon. Hindi mo ma-compare, for example, ang Abra. Nakita naman ninyo ang video ng Abra. At ako, nakapunta naman ako sa Abra. Oo. At marami sa inyo, siguro, mayroong isang opisyal na napakataas talagang opisyal. Sabi niya, ay na-embarrass nga siya dahil ako, nakapunta na ako sa tulungan sa Cotabato, kung saan nandoon yung seat talaga ng yung leader ng kanilang salugpungan na for the past 30 years. Na nakausap ko siya talaga, pinuntahan ko siya talaga. Hindi naman lahat makakagawa ng ganon. So, iba yung approach natin sa IPs, iba yung approach. Depende, as I said, sa creativity. And this is where the challenge to the teachers and to our officials lies. Na hindi na, give up na tayo. Kasi hindi pala obra si online. Marami naman Pilipino sanay na walang online Kasi yun nga ang hinihingi nila. Mayroong iba naman mga bata, ayaw nila yung mama nila o mami nila o daddy nila yun ang magturo sa kanila. Gusto nila ang teacher talaga. Gusto nila. So, medyo added yan sa teacher dahil the teacher will be the one monitoring the progress of the child in addition to the parents, because we have to be fair to the parents. Not all parents are interested or ready to teach their own children. So, ganon lang yan. Yung what works in Ilocos na empanada may not necessarily be the same as that in the Visayas. At saka sabihin natin yung readiness. Natatawa nga yung aking mga executive committee members. It's like marriage. How many of us believe na ready na tayo talaga to get married? Usually one party may have feeling not yet ready. O yung isa naman feeling ready. Yung mga ganon na sitwasyon. If you wait until you are completely ready, by that time, there will also be other demands na. There will be other problems. There will be other challenges. Because there is no end to challenges. In 50 years' time, we will not look the way we look right now. Maybe the color of our eyes would be different. Iba na nga ngayon. Maybe ang lifespan natin hindi na yung 100 years, baka 150 years na. Maybe lahat na body parts natin pwede nang pagpapalitan in 50 years time. Maybe we can have a change of career. If you are 150 years old, maybe you can have several careers in your lifetime. Hindi lang na teacher ka forever and ever or reporter ka forever and ever dahil humahaba na yung lifespan natin. And kasi we have a futures group in education. We're looking at the future of education, the future of society, the future of humankind. And these are the things that we are also, as I said, interested in, hindi lang sa ngayon. So I hope we have made ourselves clear na yun ang advantage ng you have a menu of options, because if something fails or does not work, then there is always another approach which you can try, or another combination of approaches which you can try. Thank you.
Okay, follow up,
Go,
sir.
Oscar. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that answer. No, ma'am, yung naman, what can you say about yung mga, speaking of yung mga pagiging resourceful, no, ng mga teachers, no? There's this one ma'am, Edeline, na nangihingi ng donasyong papel to print out modules para magamit ng mga magulang. Do you encourage this, ma'am, yung mga resourcefulness outside yung budget na italaga para sa kanila ng DepEd?
Kasi you have a school board. Every school has a school board. So hindi naman kailangan na mag-iisa the teacher by his lonely or her lonely self maglilibot, maghihingi ng donation. The school board can do that as a school board, as an institution. And besides, as I was saying, you have the special education fund. The special education fund is a national tax. It is a tax from payment for private property, sa private property tax. Now, if the citizens of a special education fund, which is held by the local government, ang local government ang nagko-collect niyan. Ang chair diyan ay ang Department of Education. as long as it is done in a transparent manner, as long as it is reported and accounted for, like kami in the Department of Education, we tend to prefer material donations rather than cash donations, especially kung hindi pa established yung donor, no. SEF is a very good example because it is a national tax actually. It is from real property tax collected by the local government, part of which should go to education, and the decisions will have to be cleared with the school board, which is chaired by the Department of Education. Tatlong agencies yan, Department of Education, DBM, and the Civil Service Commission, who make such decisions on the Special Education Fund. Pero malaki ang papel ng local government kasi sila ang nagko-collect yan. At saka ang mapupunta sa Special Education Fund is a certain percentage. Like kanina, you had a speaker natin, si Honorable Supreme Court Justice, former Supreme Court Justice. He heads a foundation which is World Vision. Now, we are free to donate. We are free also to ask for their assistance. But of course, it has to be transparent because World Vision is transparent to those who contribute to World Vision. And it's a worldwide organization. And in the Philippines, it is headed by no less than a former a retired Supreme Court Justice. So, okay lang yan, i-report. Just as we do in Brigada Eskwela, na nagsusolicit ang mga teachers, etc. Pero there has to be reportage, and there has to be accountability, and it has to be with the knowledge, of course, of the school.
Maraming
At
salamat.
saka mayroon tayong program na halimbawa, Adapt School, na nagbibigay ng tax rebates up to magkano ba, Jessica Ann, up to 150% ata kung mag-a-adapt ang isang institution, ng isang school. Pero mas maganda institutional kaysa individual. Mas maganda ang institutional kasi yung accountability is assured. Dahil kung institution ka, you will demand reports, you will demand makikita mo yung output, etc. etc.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May idadagdag po ata si Yusek Ann. Go ahead, ma'am.
Tama po si Secretary Liling Briones. It is done in the spirit of the Brigada Eskwela. Kasi every time we open the school, we, of course, meron po talagang volunteerism na component. At mahirap po talaga na hihindian mo yung mismong nag-offer at humihingi din ng sila mismo nagsasabi how can they help the school. At I think ito po ay isang magandang value ng mga Pilipino na talagang kung para sa mga bata, para sa eskwelahan ay bukas loob nila itong ginagawa. I think na magnify yung programa na ginagawa ng mga teacher natin ngayon. I hope you do not misinterpret at hindi po magkaroon ng miscommunication dito because yung urgency nung pag-shift namin from face-to-face to another delivery mode has really put pressure to our teachers. At sa tingin namin yung pong bukas loob talaga, buong puso at bukas loob na gusto nilang i-prepare kaagad yung mga pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral ay hindi nila naintay yung pong pondo na nanggaling dito sa National Office. As I explained earlier in our press conference kanina, yung 2020 budget natin ay hindi nakadesign para sa isang self-learning module. Ang budget natin ay nakadesign sa isang face-to-face, kaya po yung nabigay sa ating budget ay panggawa ng eskwelahan, pang-repair ng eskwelahan, textbook, etc. Ngayon po, ang kailangan natin ay mga activity sheets and learning modules. At ito po ay, nung nalaman ng mga teacher, ang ginawa po nila ay nireprograma rin ang Brigada Eskwela. Instead na maglinis sa mga eskwelahan, ang hiningi po nila ay mga materyales na kailangan ng mga bata habang sila nag-aaral sa bahay. At meron po tayong, tama po si Secretary Liling Briones, meron po tayong polisiya sa loob ng Brigada Eskwela. Kailangan may transparency, may accountability, at syempre ay sama-sama rin po mga komunidad at saka lalo na po yung Parents-Teacher Association na nagre-report kung ano po yung mga natatanggap na ito. Tama rin po si Secretary, pag institutional po yung donation, ay po pwede po sila mag-apply ng isang tax exemption or parang certificate dahil kung ito po isang kumpanya, meron pong mabibigay sa kanilang tax credits. At ito po ay nasa strand ni Yusek Tony Umali under the Brigada Eskwela. Sa aming pong department order, nakasulat po doon yung mga kondisyon at mga requirements para po sila ay mabigyan ng tax credit. So again, we do plea for your understanding na ang ginagawa ng mga teacher ay para sa preparation ng mga bata. Kung meron mang kung abuso or hindi maganda na nangyayari, please do report to us kasi madali rin naman ho natin itong makukorek. Dahil sabi nga natin ang eskwelahan ay talagang good example ng transparency at makikita naman po yan dyan. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, siguro magdagdag lang ako. Maganda kasi nandito ang press. Pag mayroong sakuna, usually kung mayroong crisis, usually kung minsan yung mga known institutions na alam nilang nagbibigay ng tulong, etc., known individuals who have dealings with the department like the Department of Education. Kung minsan tinatawagan yan, sasabi na si Secretary Briones na nangongolekta ng pera para sa volcano victims o para sa biktima ng baha. Ito yung account number at saka may urgency dahil papunta na siyang probinsya, dadalhin na niya yung pera, paki-deposit dito sa account na ito. Ang ginagawa ng iba ay siyempre feeling touched sila, bigay sila kaagad, nagde-deposit kaagad. Pero kami pag malalaman namin yan, mayroon namang iba, chine-check nila, pero naka-deposit na sila. So, winawarningan namin yung bank na kung halimbawa mayroong nagde-deposit ng check sa ganitong pangalan, ganito, ganyan, hindi kami, I don't individually solicit contributions unless these are really the established foundations, these are the established donors, etc. na alam natin talagang lehitimo. Pero maraming ganyong mga scam na at saka maski anong gawin mong announce, aywan ko ba kung lumalabas yan sa media, maya-maya mayroon namang tatawag sa amin na ganito, totoo bang nangungulekta si Secretary Briones ng pera para sa ganyan, nagbigay ng ganitong bank account sa pangalan ni ganito. So tinitrace pa namin yan kasi as a rule, I do not engage in that activity. So mabuti ding na bring up mo yon, Mr. GMA, na warningan natin ang public na hindi basta-basta magbibigay ng mga kunwari na collecting for somebody. I'm very sure in other agencies nangyayari din yan. Ginagamit yung mga pangalan ng mga heads of agencies o mga institutions para daw mangungulekta para sa nangangailangan. Okay.
Thank you so much, Secretary.
And thank you so much, Oscar Oida po ng GMA 7. Ang susunod na magtatanong, ma'am, ay si Bons Magsambol po ng Rappler. Bons, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Secretary Briones. Good afternoon po. This is Bons Magsambol po from Rappler. Ma'am,
I think I heard you before. I've met you virtually before.
Ma'am, I just want to ask, para lang din po mabigyan ng idea yung mga parents natin when it comes to modular learning. Can you give us an idea how this will work? How are the modules po madi-distribute? And will the parents be required to go to school po or designate?
Ito kanina na napakita, siguro dahil sa kadami ng mga videos, di prepare yung mga modules, ina-update yan, etc. But as I said earlier, during the first part of the press conference, it's not as if these are completely strange or completely new to our teachers and those who are working on them. Kasi these are based on the earlier listing of competences na more than 15,000 na nare-reduce. So it's hindi naman bagong-bago, pero ina-update ito, no? Once these are prepared, piniprint, and right now binibigyan namin ng autonomy ang mga regions, ang mga schools, na sila ang pwedeng sila ang mag-print, na ka-download na nga yung pera ng ating USEC Finance. Pagkatapos kung na-print na yan, kung nahihirapan sila, kasi kung minsan sa supply ng paper, whatever, humihingi sila ng tulong sa central office sa kanilang mga procedures, etc., etc. Nandiyan palagi yung central office to help them out. But there are those also who exercise autonomy and creativity. Sila na ang nag-ano. At sila, binibigyan kasi sila, like, for example, one country, I know, nagbigay ng riso reproduction machines. Mayroong mga big institutions na nagdo-donate, mga local. Ang mahilig magbigay ng riso machines, printing machines, are the local governments. At saka madali because they are in the same territory. No, nasa municipality o nasa local government. Once these are already prepared, mayroon niya mga pick-up points.
Opo.
Kung saan ipipick up ng parents, etc. Kung hindi ma-pick up ng parents, halimbawa Monday, hindi ma-pick up ng parents yan, then we usually seek the help. At saka nakita natin yan in the case of Navotas, sa mga barangay officials or village officials. Dahil ang barangay usually would know kung saan makikita itong mga batang ito and all that. At saka alam din nila kung saan nakatira yung teachers, lalo na sa mga rural areas. Lahat nagkakaalaman yan. So makakatulong sila. And then, pag Friday na, ayun, yung mga modules, kasi mga workbooks yan, etc., na fill up na, kukolektahin yan ng either the teacher or the volunteer. Nakita natin yan sa case sa Sarangani, na pinipick up, tapos rini-review ng mga teachers, kino-correct, tapos balik na naman ang bagong assignment. So it is in terms of costing, it's probably, hindi ko na sabihin it's probably, but it is quite expensive, relative, kasi being expensive is a relative thing, no? Sa lahat ng mga modalities, ito ang medyo expensive dahil sa preparation, sa printing, sa distribution, etc. Pero tumutulong ang local governments niyan. Pero the fact remains that it is a preferred modality of many parents. Halos neck to neck silang pareho. Ang mga bata gusto nilang online, at saka mga parents naman gusto nila yung ganong klaseng modality. So we respond to this.
I see. Apo. Thank you po, Sec. For my next question po, this is another practical question. How do we make sure that the students themselves, not the parents, are answering the activity sheets at home po? Do we have
there are mechanisms by which you can tell. Hindi ko mabigay ang sarili ko as an example because I used to teach at the graduate level, sa doctoral, masteral, and then the undergraduate level. But I'm sure sa mga teachers din natin, they have a way of knowing. Pero sinasama din natin, naka-built-in yung assessment side. Then maybe USEC dads can give an example, can explain. Also, sa private schools, maraming private schools na. Hindi pa yan pumasok ang DepEd dyan. Maraming private schools who already are doing blended learning. Oo. And so mayroon silang, remember, I will not mention the school, no? USEC dads, di ba? Mayroong malaking series of schools all over the country, na halos bawat probinsya mayroong school sila niyan. Ang nila talagang they have been doing blended even before. So naka-develop din sila ng mga methods by which It's challenging, of course. Pero ako, I can tell immediately. Pero hindi naman ako nagbibigay ng sarili ko as an example because as I said, iba namang level ang tinuturuan ko. Pero I believe teachers can also tell. Sige, Dad. Maybe so I will shut up.
I'd like to ask
Thank
Yusek
you very
Dags po to add. Sir, yung audio po niyo mahina, sir.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Liling, Ma'am Bones. Isa pong component ng ating assessment ay authentic assessment. Although pwede rin ngang gawin ito ng parents, pero po hopefully within the grading period, magkakaroon po ng conversation si teacher at ang bata. Pwedeng sa phone o pwedeng sa pagbisita niya ng bahay kung pwedeng gawin ito, observing health protocols. At without actually administering an examination, pwede pong matansya ni teacher kung ang mga sinubmit na outputs, written outputs at mga performance tasks ay talagang ginawa ng bata. So ayan po ay napakita rin sa ating mga dry runs na minsan talagang nag-video si nanay ng ginawa ng anak niya at sinubmit sa teacher using the FB Messenger. Mga ganito mong sistema kung ay pwedeng matansya ni teacher na ito nga ay ginagawa ng estudyante. Gusto rin po nating bigyang diin yung idea na ito yung perfect time para magturo tayo ng honesty sa ating mga anak. At kung sa bahay mismo ay pinapakita ng magulang na ang pagiging dishonest ay nakakatulong, ay wala na tayong pag-asa bilang isang bansa. So dapat po yata ay ilagay din ito sa puso ng bawat isang tutulong sa pagpapatuto sa mga bata habang nasa bahay sila.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Yusek Dags. Maraming salamat, Bons. Magsampol ng rapper. Ang susunod po ay si Jasmine Romero ng ABS-CBN. Jasmine, go ahead. Hello, Jasmine. Jasmine, you're online.
Hi. Hapon po sa inyo. Secretary, magandang hapon po and to all the users.
Hi.
Opo,
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, ma'am. Ma'am, meron lang po nagpapatanong, no? Galing po ito sa isang principal. Nagtatanong po siya ng status tungkol sa printing module sa NCR. Hindi pa daw po kasi nakapag-start ng pag-print ng mga modules. Ang concern po kasi nila, mataas po ang population ng mga schools, lalo na po sa Quezon City, which is 3,000 to 12,000 students. So paano daw po yung distribution? Following health protocols, aabutin daw po ito ng 1 month. Marami daw pong teachers ang ayaw na mag-distribute dahil natatakot daw po sa COVID at hindi daw maaasahan ng mga barangay officials pagdating na po sa actual distribution.
Very real naman at real naman yung concern ng teacher na yan o principal ba on the preparation and the distribution of the modules. At saka that is very real in the case of NCR, of course, dahil ang MCR ay MGCQ or Cebu is pero hindi na Cebu is in a better situation daw than NCR. Oo. So ang iniisip namin kasi talagang nakikiusap din ang ating regional director na kung pwedeng bigyan sila ng additional time during which they can focus on the preparation of the modules. They will be slightly they will be perhaps a few days behind or a few days sa pag-formal start ng classes. Mag-start ang classes but hindi diretso kaagad sa mga learning modules dahil hinahanda pa yun. And this is true in the case of NCR, not only NCR but also Region 4. Oo, kasi ito yung mga MDCQ and we understand their situation. So we will understand and give allowance if they cannot the modules cannot be finished within the time kasi ang requirement diyan skeleton force So, ang hirap naman ng mga skeletons, they will be rattling around in the buildings and without any flesh. So, ma-delay talaga sila. So, there will be considerations for that. But there are other activities that they can engage in even as the modules are still being readied, in particular for NCR and for Region 4. Yung iba ang risk classification nila. At as I was saying, that is a real concern, and the regional director has duly reported that.
Okay, Secretary. So, opo, kung ganyan po, just to clarify, NCR and Region 4, we will expect a little bit of delay pagdating po sa pag-distribute po ng modules. And kung meron pong delay, what kind of activities
there might be? Kasi right now you have until the 19th. Kasi the situation in NCR is unpredictable. Kung mag-improve, 'di ba, mayroong official sa atin from AATF na nagsasabi na by the end of the 2-week period, it will be yung improvement in the numbers and the risk assessment will be so much better. Ito lang talagang hinigpitan ng husto at this particular time para magkaroon naman ng effect. So maybe after the 15th, the picture will have changed. But alam natin, and we are monitoring, and we understand the situation. Jasmine, our teachers, you think Quezon City, for example, or you think Region 4, they're very, very good teachers. And so they're capable of making the necessary adjustments, and we are also capable of understanding their situation compared, for example, to some of our island schools which don't have the kind of pressure that they are undergoing at present. So it's not as if we do not know what is happening, because 3 or 4 times a week we meet virtually with all the regional directors, the superintendents, and the executive committee. So kung may complication or may challenge, we respond as quickly as we can. We are in a situation na yung sinabi ko ito sa aming mga tao. I don't know if I have said it because I have not been appearing sa press for some time, na the situation right now is not like, this is quotable, it's not like an algebraic equation where you may only have two unknowns, si X at saka Y, o kung gusto mo magdagdag at saka si Z. The situation right now is there are so many unknowns. So right now we cannot say this is what we will do, this is what we will do in great detail. But in general, yung framework ay klaro, ang instructions klaro sa kanila, na they have the autonomy to be creative, and it's the easiest thing to do now to inform even the secretary at midnight or at dawn na this is what is happening and we have this kind of problem. So alam namin ang NCR, alam namin ang Region 4, ang Region 4A, the contrast is very wide, because you have provincial or mga countryside types of municipalities and local governments, but at the same time, Region 4A is the center also of industrial activity. And you have kung ano yung Tarlac noon na melting pot, ay Region 4A is the new melting pot. You have people from practically all regions of the country, different cultures, different languages, moving in and out. So the risk is very high. At saka yung population, Region 4A has the highest number of enrollees, more than 4 million in Region 4A alone, higher than NCR. So these are things that we are sensitive to, na binabantayan, and it helps that we get feedback from our people, and we get feedback from you about the situation, which we are also aware of, by the way.
Another question, Secretary. Open po ba ang DepEd na mag-hire ng mga private school teachers, lalo na po dun sa mga schools na nagsara o nagsuspend ng operations, especially since not all of them have passed the LET exams?
Actually, pumapayag na. Maybe si Yusek Ann can explain further. Pumapayag ang DBM. They are allowing us to get yung tinatawag nating para teachers. Familiar sila with teaching, may exposure sa teaching, but not necessarily licensed. Kasi kung with our kind of blended learning, kailangan talagang ma-monitor din yung mga bata, because recognize naman natin that all parents are also ready, capable, or interested, or have the constituency to have the desire to and the patience to teach. And many mothers also say that they don't have that kind of patience that teachers have. So I think we would be considering them, kasi we will be allowed to do that by the DBM. Pero yung tawag nating para teachers. And there are also other agencies which need people who are fairly educated, like halimbawa contact tracers. Halimbawa yung kasi ang focus ngayon ay COVID. Yun talaga ang very badly needed, because kailangan siguro, sa tingin ko, hindi lang yung high school graduate, pero mas mabuti yung college graduate for accuracy in recording and for care in taking the appropriate protective actions which are necessary. Pero kami, di ba, Yusek Ann, pinapayagan naman tayo. Yusek Ann.
Yes, ma'am.
Pinapayagan tayo. Like, I'll give you an example, Jasmine. I cannot mention the name of this person. This person is a choir director. He's really a musician. But he is a PhD in mathematics from the University of the Philippines, because mathematics and music tend to go very well. And professor siya sa UP. Then he was attracted to the private sector. Lumipat siya sa private sector. Naabutan siya ng COVID pandemic. So wala siyang yung regular contract. So 6 months now, wala siyang trabaho. PhD in mathematics from the University of the Philippines. And I don't even understand. Maski yung title na lang yung dissertation niya, hindi ko maintindihan. Pero he is jobless. And here we are debating about other things. And you have 163,000 of these teachers sa private school na I don't know kung napapansin sila. Pero this is a very real example of a person. Some of you in the Exicom, you know him because you have seen him conduct, because he's both musician. It's like the dean of the college, former dean of the College of Music in UST. PhD mathematics from UP, dean sa College of Music of UST, and one of the very best piano performers this country has ever produced. Pero at least retired siya, so mayroon siyang Ito, naabutan, lumipat sa private school, ngayon wala siyang trabaho. And he would understand many more things about math and data analytics than I would probably do. And that's why you understand where I'm coming from when I talk about administrative costs. So,
Secretary, on a different matter naman po, no, a lot of teachers have, going back to teachers po, no, yung kanilang fear of acquiring COVID during their duty as, while they're distributing modules to parents. Ang tanong po kasi ng marami sa kanila, paano kung tamaan ako ng COVID? Anong assistance dito ng DepEd? Meron po ba kayong na-formulate na assistance or additional assistance for teachers na tatamaan ng COVID?
We are working at it, but it's difficult to determine kung saan mo nakuha ang COVID because you can get it in transportation. At saka what is coming out now is that it happens in families. Halimbawa, I have a family and a member of the household staff goes to the market, goes to the grocery, etc., etc. Tapos, when you are outside, you faithfully obey the requirements of the Department of Health. But when you are inside the house, you don't change your shoes, you don't change your clothes, you don't take a shower when you arrive, you share the same bathroom, you share the same room, and ang biro ko nga sa you cannot be knocking on bedrooms to find out kung face to face ba itong mga couples, kasi usually couples eh. So it's right now, I'm not saying na I'm excusing DepEd, I'm just saying that it's good to find out, kaya may contact tracing, to find out kung saan nakuha ang and it can be in various places, posible din ang DepEd. Kaya kami we're watching our numbers. Ang nakikita ngayon, families talaga, Jasmine, kaya all of you be careful once you are home. Mayroong akong isang case na tinutulungan ko. She's a widow. She put her 4 children, lahat nakatapos ng college, and they live in a one-room apartment. All of them. Siya, 4 na anak, 2 lalaki, 2 babae. So nung tumama yung COVID, 1/2 of their family natamaan kaagad. Another family, 7. So there is difficulty in determining, kaya importante yung contact tracing. I'm not saying na DepEd walang kasalanan. I'm just saying that we have to be very careful about yung sabi ko, these things happening in families. A particular mayor of a local government, family yon. So you can get it anywhere.
Pero pwede po bang tanggalin yung clause na dapat work-related? Because since COVID can be acquired anywhere, pwede po bang tumulong ang DepEd sa mga guro o mga DepEd personnel kung nagkaroon sila ng COVID just because they are under DepEd and not because of any other
reason? Yes. We have been doing that since March. We have been doing that in Cebu, for example. And we don't need a memorandum or from IATF. We have been doing that for our teachers. And my recent incident then tinutulungan natin, and in a sense DepEd is, I will not say anything anymore because gawa na naman ako ng meme. Basta ang sasabihin ko lang that we have been doing that. Pag mai-report, pag malalaman namin, and we immediately collaborate with the Department of Health. Ang kapartner namin dyan, ang Department of Health. In my case, Jasmine, when I was diagnosed, we identified at least 30 of my staff who have had occasion to be dealing with me face to face. So 30 kami sabay-sabay na nag-isolation, talagang 1 room each, ganon. So we do that naman, but we don't make a press release about it because because you can always be misinterpreted and made fun of.
Opo. Secretary, last na lang po, no? Last na lang po talaga. Meron po proposals kasi na
That has to be a matter of policy kasi now ang pinag-aaralan yung tinatawag na pooled testing. Kasi iba't ibang definition. Nandito po ba si Yusek Nepo?
Yes, ma'am.
Iba-ibang definition as to what is massive testing. At saka the ongoing, even in the medical profession, mayroon pa silang debate about rapid testing and so on and so forth. And so ganun. But we help as much as we can without waiting and without issuing a press release. Marami na kaming natutulungan. Lalo na yung mga areas.
Last na po, Secretary.
Jasmine, before that question siguro,
Apo.
can we ask some additional insights from Yusek Nepo? Sir?
On what?
Dun sa COVID assistance po, mga teachers.
It is in the required health standards. You're correct, Jasmine, that the question is yung hindi malilink sa reporting. But if the teachers are reporting in offices, and as mentioned by the secretary, hindi mo naman malalaman na kung saan matrace. And we do that for all of those that are reporting, even in the central office, kasi merong ibang work from home, merong not work from home. Mas mahirap nga actually yung talagang work from home kasi walang basis na for dun sa sinabi mo na what do you call this, dun sa distinction that was made in the required health standards. But of course, part of that is really a prioritization that we have. But as mentioned by the secretary, assistance is also still provided somehow, but probably less as a matter of like a demandable assistance on the part of DepEd than if you are really among the personnel, whether teacher or teaching or non-teaching, that are reporting for on office based setting. And if you are a teacher that reports whether occasionally to school and also does the either the putting together of the learning resources or takes duty. I took the call earlier from this school I mentioned here in Batangas City, and the teachers were there. They're doing preparatory work. So those things will be provided assistance based on our required health standards. And the other thing there is that, of course, we don't want this to spread within the department. And that's why the matter of contact tracing, isolation, needs to be put in place. But again, hindi yan internal to DepEd only, because we have to work this out also with the local government units at saka the local health authorities. And so it's a combination, but I think DepEd, as per policy, will provide support. But as mentioned by the secretary also, it is not the mass testing na everyone will be tested coming to the office. It's still indicated testing based on either exhibiting symptom or having a known exposure to a positive individual. But the policy also says that sometimes local government units have a program for testing beyond what is indicated in our policy. That certainly we will welcome that, because there are some local government units that insist on a certain testing program, and we will not object to such programs. Thank you.
Again, going back to my example, Jasmine, when I tested positive, and we identified at least 30 plus members of my family. All of us were isolated, but all of them tested negative sa staff ko and my family. So, we cannot now, it would be very difficult for us to say na napulot yun sa DepEd. Even if they, kasi lahat sila negative eh. 2 weeks yun na ginastusan ng DepEd. But I will not say anymore because there will be more memes coming forth. So, at saka when these things happen already, as in the case in Cebu, we locked down the regional office in Cebu, but we did not issue a press release when one or two of the staff got infected, but not again from the regional office, but because they were living in the same house with fellow boarders who also were infected. Pero tinulungan sila, binigyan ng financial assistance out of the budget, ganon. Because charity, I will not say charity because it is so demeaning. Humanitarian acts don't have to be press con. Hindi naman kailangan yan. And especially since you have to do tracing. Yung sa akin, more than 30 sila eh. Ni isa sa akin staff nag-test ng positive. So, it cannot be said na galing yun sa DepEd. Dahil ang exposure nila sa akin was quite intensive, no? So, yung mga ganon. But, maybe the public can credit naman DepEd with a humanitarian framework, whether it is required by law or not. And if you have instances or cases like this, as I said, we don't need a memorandum. We don't need a press conference. We just go ahead and do it. And the various organizations in DepEd, there are professional organizations in DepEd, organizations of principals, organizations of supervisors, organizations of rank and file, and they help each other as it is happening in the other organizations, no? So ganon lang. It's quite, as I said, challenging to come to conclusions and accuse an institution probably na hindi pa. Well, that's it. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Ma'am, for the information po ng lahat, andito po si RD Malcov ng NCR para he can answer po tungkol dun sa preparation po ng modules po dun sa mga big cities po natin.
Yes.
RD, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Secretary. Good afternoon, Director June, and to all our partners from the media. So insofar as NCR is concerned, as of last week, we had a meeting with all the superintendents. And, despite of the situation in NCR being under MECQ until August 18, so the preparation for the production of modules are being done continuously. Most, if not all, the LGUs have committed to shoulder the expenses for the module production for at least for the first month of the first grading period. So, some of the divisions have outsourced the printing of the modules through the LGUs. Some of the divisions in NCR are doing it by administration. So we would like to thank the LGUs who have given our SDOs printing machines. So tuloy-tuloy po yung paggawa ng mga modules natin. And according to our superintendents, most of the modules will be ready at least for the first month or 4 weeks of the modules to be used for the first grading period by this week or by until next week. So yan po yung situation ng ating pong module preparation for NCR. Despite of the current MECQ, being under or being implemented now in the National Capital Region. So hindi po lahat ng NCR divisions natin will be relying on the modules. Some of the divisions or schools will be implementing the blended, the modified blended learning, wherein it will be a combination of the use of printed modules and some online or digital platform. So far, Madam Secretary, and to our media partners, that's the current situation of preparation insofar as NCR is concerned.
Thank you.
And maraming salamat, RD Malcolm Garma ng National Capital Region. Thank you so much, Jasmine from ABS-CBN. Ang susunod po na magtatanong ay si Noel Talakay po ng Malaya Business Tonight. Noel, go ahead. Noel, nag-offline ata. So we can proceed po. I think
I'm here po.
Ayun, Noel, go ahead. Yeah.
Hi, Jude. Yes. Hello, Secretary. So yung question ko po is,
Hi.
wag po kayo ma-stress ha. Kasi kukunin ko lang po yung comment nyo sa pronouncement po ng ACT Philippines. They're saying po na kaka-receive daw po sila ng mga reports na yung ibang teacher daw sa ibang lugar ay ginagamit na nila yung kanilang pera, ma-produce lamang po yung material for distance learning. Ano pong mako-comment nyo lang po dun?
Hindi na ako magko-comment niyan dahil alam na ninyo kung anong sagot ko diyan. Si Yusek Ana ang sasagot yan nung tanong na yan, yung question na yan. Kasi na-imagine mo na kung ano ang sagot ko.
Bakit Yusek Ana, ma'am?
Yes, over to me.
Mukha ka namang bright, Noel eh.
Okay, maybe Noel, we really have to explain that some of the teachers do some things on their own. And if they do something na talagang hindi bukal sa loob nila, ito yung kalalabasan. But I think no one was forced to do it. What we said when we shifted to the blended learning approach or the learning delivery modality is that the funding is yet to be realigned, reprogrammed. So may technicality dito, no? Una, merong batas ang pondo, ang budget law. And it took us some time para ito ay maaprubahan na ma-realign from face-to-face to blended learning. When we said that materials will be prepared, na-excite po talaga ang mga guro na magsimulang gumawa ng kanilang mga activity sheets, modules, and probably because of some information from central office to region to division, down to school. Imagine we're talking about more than 46,000 schools na public school. At siguro yung po talagang communication structure ng DepEd pag bilog ang message sa taas, pagbaba po niyan, ibang shape na ang napupunta doon. What we're just saying is may pondo po, pero ang pondo ay hindi ganun kabilis bumaba. Na-delay din po yan. We started giving the funds in July. But while they are waiting for the national fund, nakipag-usap po tayo sa mga local government units at ginamit po nila ang kanilang mga special education fund kasi hindi rin naman natuloy yung palarong pambansa. Usually, the special education fund is also used for the palarong pambansa. And the Secretary has announced that we prioritize the need for the continuing education. So marami po sa ating mga mayor, governor, ay talagang sumunod po dito at binigay po yung kanilang special education fund. Isa pa po na ginawa natin while waiting for the national funded allocation, ay inalaw po natin na gamitin nila yung school MOE. Ang ibig sabihin ng school MOE, budget yan na nasa eskwelahan na. At ating po silang pinayagan na gamitin ito na pambili ng mga materyales na kanilang po pwedeng gamitin or gawin. Isa pa po ay yung Brigada Eskwela. So nag-start tayo ng Brigada Eskwela and dito po siguro may mga pagkakataon talaga na may isang komunidad na siguro kahit magkaroon ka ng programa ng volunteerism ay mahirap talaga. So, mahirap po kasing i-generalize ang sitwasyon ng ating mga eskwelahan. Meron po kagaya rito sa Pasig, Manila, Taguig, they're very blessed, especially Makati. na halos lahat talaga ay pinoprovide ng local government units. Pero may mga lugar din po siguro na nahihirapan or baka natagalan. May dumating din pero natagalan. At kung merong mga nag-abono ng mga guro natin, ay naiintindihan natin kasi talagang meron hong kusang loob na gumawa nito. I'm sure kung hindi po ito kusang loob ay talagang mahirap ilabas sa bulsa natin, ano? Kaya nga ang inaano natin dito, in whatever we do, dapat po talaga nagkakaintindihan tayo because there are policies, there are funding, pero siguro yung communication, pinaka-importante, kung paano na iibigay yung message sa kanila. Wala po tayong pinipilit, lalo na sa mga guro natin. In fact, the Secretary has done everything para po lahat ng kanilang mga, for example, the salaries, the benefits, and all other na dapat pong matatanggap nila ay pinaagahan pa nga po ni Secretary Liling para hindi na sila mag-isip ng
Advance na yon.
Advance pa nga po. Opo.
Advance, Noel.
Yes.
Oo.
One more question po. Ilang days na lang po, or 2 weeks left, meron po, magsisimula na yung klase. Gaano po ka-ready yung DepEd
Noel,
ngayon?
gusto ko lang magdagdag na ay kung naka-advance sila, di sigurado naman ako may resibo yan eh. So, madali naman bawiin dahil download naman talaga
Yes,
ang
ma'am.
pera.
Opo.
May pondo naman dyan eh. Di
Thank you, ma'am.
sisingilin nila. Maraming taong gumagawa niyan. Siguro ikaw minsan nag-advance ka ng gastos mo dahil hindi nakarating ka agad yung whatever allowance mo diyan sa paper mo. Karamihan sa atin, tapos sinisingil natin. Sisingilin ang DepEd, hindi naman, tama na.
May proseso, Noel. Ang ibig sabihin ni Secretary, may proseso. Siguro yung iba nahihirapan mag-reimburse kung walang resibo. Pero hindi naman din tayo pwede mag-reimburse sa gobyerno, di ba? Kung wala ring resibo. So siguro yung proseso ang kailangan i-explain sa kanila.
So clarify ko lang, pwede nila i-reimburse yung kanilang mga expenses. Tama po ba ako? Tama po ba pagkaintindi ko?
Basta po siya ay nandun sa ating plano. Ibig sabihin, yun po ay nakaplano sa kanilang eskwelahan kasi baka po lahat ay maggawa naman ng kanilang expenses na hindi nakaplano. So kailangan po, hingi muna yan ng koordinasyon sa kanilang eskwelahan at make sure that the principal also knows what they're doing. Kasi baka makuha rin tayo na binili na pala ng eskwelahan tapos bumibili pa ang guro. So isa rin po yun sa inefficiency. Kailangan po talaga may coordination at may communication sa loob mismo ng eskwelahan at mga guro.
One more question, Secretary. Ilang days na lang po mag-open na yung klase natin sa August 24. How ready po yung DepEd, yung buong school, yung buong public school? Nasaan na po tayo? Ilang % na pong ready tayo po? Last question na po yan.
Ma'am, naka-mute po kayo.
Ma'am, mute yan.
Ready na tayo. April pa natin ginawa yung learning continuity plan natin. Yung pagbabago ng curriculum, this is an existing curriculum na reduce natin ang numbers. Tapos itong mga activities na ito, ang ating mga opisyal cannot tell the difference anymore between Sunday and Friday or Saturday or days or hours, whether it is early morning or it is early evening. Talaga, because you have a clear deadline, you have a clear goal. Hindi naman sabihin natin, magbukas tayo kung ready na kami. Pero kailangan ready. So pag sundin natin kung anong sinasabi ng batas, stretch natin yan na pinaka-malapit sa end of August. Dahil end of August is on a weekend, yun ang pinaka-malapit na day na pwede nating pwede tayong magbukas. So nandyan na. Yun na. Hindi na tayo magsasabing sa tingin ko hindi pa ready, mag-conference muna tayo kung ready ba tayo, etc. etc. Kasi pagdating ng August 24, mayroon na namang challenge na iba, Noel. Pagdating ng September, may challenge na naman. Pagdating ng January 2021, election na. Closing na. There will be other concerns of government aside from COVID and so on. So, that is how we have to work. You move backwards. Sabihin mo, ang pinaka-last practical day is August 24, then you work backwards, then you set deadlines, then you set a schedule, whether it is morning, noon, or in between, or what day is it, whether it is holiday or not, that is the day. Kumbaga, this is the day which the Lord has made. Ito, August 24. Pero yung pagsabi na all of us know what readiness means naman. Pag ready, that is relative. One will look at a glass half full, or another will look at a glass which is half empty. Maski anong sabi mong ready ka, hindi pa naman ready sa ibang nanonood ng nagbabantay sa DepEd. Hihintayin mo pa ba yan kung kailan magsasabi sa atin na ready na kami? Nandiyan na ang batas. As I was saying, readiness is relative. Kaya nga favorite example ko, marriage. Not everybody feels that they are absolutely 110% ready to get married, but they do get married. And it works. Oo. Hindi naman lahat. Anyway, I always tell myself I will not talk, but then I cannot resist your very interesting remarks. Oo. Like how do you define readiness? Mag-work out tayo ng criteria muna. And sa aming criteria, ready na kami. Oo. Siguro sa criteria ng iba, hindi kami ready. Pero sa criteria ng Department of Education, sa criteria ng batas, sa criteria ng Presidente, ready kami.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Noel, that's your second question, right?
Yes. Thank you. That's all. Thank you for entertaining my question. Thank you, Secretary.
Yes, we are entertaining each other. Minsan magkita tayo at magtatawanan tayo.
All right, thank you so much, Noel. No, that's Noel Talakay from Malaya Business Tonight, ma'am. And then we're proceeding po with the lineup. I would like to call Jody Agoncillo po ng Inquirer. Jody.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, sir.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, this is Jody Agoncillo from Inquirer. What happened earlier was really a test or a show of resilience. Congratulations. So my question is just a follow-up on Ms. Jasmine Romero's question earlier. So, ma'am, you said that it is a humanitarian deed of DepEd to assist the teachers who will contract the disease. Ma'am, but in cases where the teachers reporting for work acquire a disease, the COVID-19, who will pay for their medication and treatment?
What we do is we collaborate and we cooperate with the Department of Health. No, nagtutulungan kami, and then as I said, kung kakilala mo, halimbawa kasama mo sa opisina, you are in the same office, you are in the same outfit like the Inquirer. One of your office mates gets afflicted. Hindi naman kailangan memohan kayo. People give on their own. Organizations give on their own. Whether there is, what I'm saying is whether there is a policy or not. Nagtutulungan naman talaga tayo. Not only DepEd. I'm not claiming DepEd alone does this by its lonely self. Nagtutulungan naman talaga tayo. Ako, I'm president of a choir. Hindi naman mag-spend kami ng time na hihingi ng ayuda or tulong from the government. We help each other as much as we can because we are human beings. Oo, may policy o hindi. Pero yung policy, of course, we have a health office, tapos hihingi kami ng tulong, especially sa diagnostics, and so on. At saka importante kasi yung contact tracing, saka yung testing, contact tracing, parang mantra na yan, no, na and we cannot be spending time sa DepEd ba ito nakuha ba ito sa bedroom o whatever or wherever the person went. Wala nang tanungan ng ganun. Yan ang paningin ko sa issue na ito. Until of course the government itself, ang ang policy ng government, ang tinitreat of course are those who are talagang nadadiagnose na sila. Ewan ko kung anong sasabihin ni Yusek Ann.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Kasi marami naman tayo paparaan sa loob ng mga opisina. Para bang, hindi naman kasi walang puso yung department na na hindi pinapansin yung mga Yun ang medyo hindi ko types na attitude towards the DepEd.
Ma'am, so it can be clarified and clarified and simplified to everyone. The government doesn't have the funding for hospitalization or treatment. Remember, our funding is from the budget law. At dito po sa budget law na nabigay sa atin, wala naman hong budget na nakalagay doon ay para sagutin lahat ng ating mga empleyado, lalo na kung may COVID treatment. Kayo ay prevention at saka po yung health standards. Yan po ay provided ng government. Ibig sabihin lahat ng kailangan sa loob ng opisina, pati po yung ginagawan din natin ng paraan, yung sa contact tracing, kapag po sa atin po na ay meron pong empleyado, meron po tayong partnership and coordination with the Department of Health at saka ng local government unit. Malaking tulong po yung local government unit sa amin kasi yung mga teachers po mismo ay nabibigyan ng tulong ng mga local hospitals, government-owned hospitals, at kung hindi man kakayanin, kasi alam naman natin na malaki na rin ang demand doon, yung pong sinasabi ni Secretary na hindi naman namin pine-press release, ay may internal po kami na pondo. Ibig sabihin, hindi galing sa gobyerno, kung hindi contribution na mga...
Galing sa amin. Yan.
Sa amin. Contribution ng lahat na amin pong iniipon, mga voluntaryo. At ito po ay sa tulong na rin ng ating mga officials, lalo na po yung mga superintendents, regional directors, ASEC, USEC, mga directors. Yan po ay nag-collect. At meron po tayong pondong ginagamit na hindi naman namin ito nire-report kasi ito ay isang personal na initiative na ginagawa ng Department of Education. Marami pong nag-positive na at marami pong nagkaroon ng treatment na hindi po nire-report sa inyo, probably because of the privacy as well. But we do not remiss on the contact tracing. Dahil yan po ay aming binibigay o nire-refer sa DOH at sa local government units. At hindi lang po sa hospitalization, pag may kailangan din ng kanilang pamilya, personal na nabibigay. Pero yan nga po ay nanggagaling sa contribution na personal at hindi po galing sa government.
Saka halimbawa, you move away from DepEd, you look at the national government. Nung unang bugso ng talagang nakita na yung magnitude ng danger na yan, the cabinet members contributed a certain percentage of their salaries. Pero palagay ko hindi naman yan pinipress release at saka tinitelevise. And I'm sure within their own departments, ginagawa yan, iba't ibang grupo like sa DepEd, you have an association of principals, you have an association of superintendents, you have an association of directors, yung mga ganon. So, sa sarili nilang earnings yan, na-generate sa kanilang mga contributions, tumutulong sila at hindi na sila naghihintay. Pero hindi naman din kailangan. Yung sinasabi nga sa good book, halata na ako, panay quotation ko from the good book, na nagsasabi, when you give, your right hand should not know what your left hand is doing. You do it in secret. And we don't have to announce it. Yung sa mga, and you do, and we are not saying na kami lang gumagawa. In your own organizations, ginagawa ninyo yan. Hindi lang yung mga kapamilya, pero in the organization itself, ginagawa naman ninyo yan. Hindi naman lahat na sasabihin mo galing yan sa isang departamento, therefore that departamento has to do it. Bear in mind that, we have a huge bureaucracy and so on and so forth. Pero yung bayanihan naman, and I can attest to it, the cabinet members contributed, inanuhan sila ng kanilang, tinukahan sila ng percentage. Pero wala namang press release, wala namang medalya, wala namang seremonya. Basta tahimik lang. Dahil obligasyon natin as fellow human beings, no? And we don't even have to ask questions like that because it is being done and it is part of our culture. Ginagawa naman talaga yan eh. Oo.
Yes, ma'am. But that is a great assurance on the part of DepEd, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yeah,
sa-
kasi what do you expect DepEd to do? DepEd is yun ang nagtatransmit, one of the major transmitters of culture and good values. Oh, so you are you surprised that we do it? But we are Filipinos and we are part of Filipino culture. Ganun ba ang tingin ninyo sa DepEd? Now it's my turn to ask a question.
I think, ma'am, the teachers need an assurance at this point, ma'am.
Those who have been helped, they know it. March pa, yung una nating tinulungan, Mandaluyong ba yun? Jessica Ann. NCR yun.
Yes,
Oo.
thank you so much, Secretary Briones.
Sa Cebu.
Yes.
Thank
Oo.
you. That's good to know, ma'am. Ma'am, for my second question.
Yeah, it's good for you to know. That's good for you to know.
Mhm. Ma'am, for my second question.
Si Jessica.
May I just know the status of the proposed hiring assignment of teacher facilitators expected to assist parents who are not equipped to teach the children. May I just know if there will be extra compensation for them?
Ito yung
For
mga
the
para-teachers natin.
Yeah, you
Opo.
suggest, I think, can help.
Si Jessica Ann.
You suggest can help, ma'am. You suggest.
If I may.
You suggest? Go ahead pa.
Sa ngayon, we are now about to finalize the guidelines for the hiring kasi we have to ensure that this is in connection with the civil service rules regulation. But just to say that we are about to finalize that kasi kailangan nga natin, kung maalala nyo, ikakabit ko lang doon sa ating ginawang survey nung enrollment. Kung isang tinanong natin doon, sino ba ang makakatulong sa pag-aaral ng mga bata, yun po ay gagamitin natin para malaman natin kung ano pang tulong ang mabibigay sa mukha ng tinatawag nating learner support aid. Ito po ay sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng Special Education Fund na binanggit kanina ng ating kalihim na si Ma'am Briones po. Kaya nga po yung learner support fund learner support aid natin po, kailangan po ito ayon doon sa pangangailangan ng bawat division at rehiyon. Director Dudoy?
And also a teacher who voluntary naman yun eh. A teacher who does not want to be part of this effort that may not. That's why God gave us the freedom of choice.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much, you suggest.
Hirap na hirap na si John.
Thank you so much, Jody. It's si Jody,
Thank
first
you,
time
ma'am.
mag-join ng press con natin. Si Jody from Inquirer. Opo.
Yes,
Ang
ma'am.
susunod na magtatanong po ay si John Vic, ma'am. Ng
But the
Philippines.
bottom line is what will come out in tomorrow's newspaper.
Hello po, good afternoon,
John Vic, go
Secretary.
ahead. Yep.
And siguro just a clarification lang po dun sa paghingi ng tulong ng ibang teachers. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila kailangang manghingi ng tulong para sa bond papers, sa printer inks dahil may budget tayo. Paano po kung wala na silang bond papers ngayon at inks? Saan nila pwedeng erase yung issue kung may budget pa at para magtanong at makapanghingi ng budget?
Ako ang sasagot niyan. Sinabi ko yan kanina na at the regional level. Kung hindi pwede sa regional level, sa central office level. At saka may budget na dina-download para dyan. Oo, para sa mga challenges na yan, which we expect to really happen. No? Lalo na kung naghihintay lang tayo, ay talagang mangyari yung sasabihin nating mangyari. Oo. Pero kung ang central office, nakikita na yan. 1 month na yung nakikita, yung ano na yan, possibility, pinagdebatehan na yan. Yung question mo exactly, that exact question which you raised. And so we have tried to resolve it early enough. Kasi we knew that it was forthcoming. Predictable naman ang ating mga behavior eh.
Thank you, Secretary.
At saka we can also see the direction in the economy. Like enrollment, for example, it's nothing to, enrollment is due to the downturn in the economy because people who are jobless normally put their children to private schools. Ang natamaan talaga yung private school enrollment, hindi naman public school enrollment. And then you have the migration. It's also the economy itself. At we have to credit the government for coming out. It's not the most thrilling thing to say that you have a negative 16.5 negative growth in the GDP for 1 quarter. Pero sinabi. So that we are aware and we will do. Pero kami na, yung those who have been watching, well, siyempre, nakikita na nila yun. It's not invented. Oo. Baka June.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Janvic. Yung pangalawang
Since
question.
we're prepared with the opening of classes now, what would be our priorities na lang po for the next few weeks? Ano yung mga babantayan natin at yung mga dapat natin bago magbukas ng klase?
From where I sit, of course, it is the production of the modules and the learning materials. Ang priority sa amin is communication. From where I am, because we have been faithful, we regularly report, we give accurate numbers, but what comes out necessarily may be quite different. So it's for me, and I'm being very frank with you, that is a major challenge. How to, yan, ganon. Kasi we have regular press conferences, we issue the numbers, etc. We have been saying for the longest time na it's August 24, we have never moved from that. And we have been saying that face-to-face is not allowed by the president. We have not moved from that. And still the debate goes on. So probably, so it's a challenge to us. And maybe, well, that's it. Saka yung priorities, of course, is the preparation of the module. And also kasi blended learning naman, to see kung what we saw. Kasi we had 489 simulations, di ba, June? And we saw that it was working. There were problems pero nare-resolve. So, as I said kanina, earlier this morning, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So makikita na natin. But at least we will not be caught by surprise. If there is hostility, if there is criticism, if there is inaccuracy, there is misinterpretation, we will not be caught by surprise because we have undergone already the entire cycle of preparation, which is as important. And of course, all of you appreciate the fact that we did not ask. I mean, this thing happened not only to the department but to the entire government system. You only have so many months, you only have so many days. So what is the alternative? What do we do aside from discussing the challenges? What we should do is to find the solutions. And that is what the department is doing, looking for the solutions, and not only being bogged down by the perceived problems. There are other issues which probably I may not take up at this time. There are other challenges which do not have to be discussed at this time. No, very importante for me is really the modules, yun ang the opening and so on, and the unexpected. Kasi ang Philippines is always like that. Mayroong unexpected. So at least when the unexpected comes in on 24th, it is expected. Diba? Oo.
Salamat po.
Oo.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
That's enough quotables for you naman, Jan Vic, siguro.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nag-absent lang ako sa klase ninyo ng 2 linggo eh.
Na-miss ka namin, ma'am.
Hindi, mas mabuti yung one-on-one.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm very sure you all look, from what I see of you guys virtually, you're very bright. You can read naman between the lines. All of you went to college and you went to university. You've been working for so long. You can say, you can do your own analytics if you wish to do your own analytics. So, nasa yon. Kaya, but we have to be nice and to be polite to each other. And to, yeah. Alam naman niyo ang sagot sa tanong ninyo, di ba? At saka hindi kayo titigil hanggat hindi niyo makuha yung sagot na gusto ninyo. Kung ayaw ninyo yung sagot na binibigay, di, bigyan ng kunting kulay, bigyan ng kunting, di masaya na lahat. Oo. Pero, tingnan mo yung kabuuan naman. What is at stake here? Yung sinabi ko nga kanina, what is at stake here are the children. Sino ba ang nagdi-debate? Kayo, you are grown-ups. Ako, I am an oldie. Matanda na talaga ako. My directors, my officials are grown-ups. Our teachers are grown-ups. And we should ask the children, do they want to go to school or not? And every chance I have, I talk to children and I ask them, they want to go to school. They miss their classmates, they miss their teachers. And mayroon pang isa na re-report sa amin ng director na sinabi talaga outright, he does not want to be taught by his mother. Oo. So hinahanap si teacher. Alam naman niyo yung sagot ng tanong ninyo eh. Pero siyempre, kailangan na sasabihin ninyo ako ang nagsabi para maka-memes na naman. Para makamura na naman. Oo. Para tawa ng tawa si June. Oo. Para naman ng 3-letter word. So, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Matagal ko nang gustong sabihin ninyo, I look at you as my as students of life because you are younger. And you are learning from life. What are you learning from life in your profession? The way you do your work. How do you do it? And why do you do it? What do you report to your readers who take you very seriously? and who believe in what you say and what you analyze. Anong papel ninyo? Napaka-importante. Kaya para sa akin, malaki talagang challenge ang communications. And June knows that very well. I keep on nagging. Kasi his problem with me is I always tell the truth. But that is my obligation to myself. Sige. Oo. Pinapawisan na si June.
Maraming salamat, Rick. Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, ang last na magtatanong si Dante Amante po ng UNTV. Free na po ito, si Sir Dante. Sir Dante?
Sige, mag-exchange tayo ng Bible verses, Dante.
Wala na po ata. Hindi na po online. Sir Dante? Wala na po ata, ma'am. So I think that's it. Yun po yung ating last part ng press conference. But
Can I add the last statement? Bigla kong naalaala.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
There is, of course, you all know St. Paul, di ba? In one of the letters, St. Paul wrote a series of letters, yung tinatawag nilang the epistles of St. Paul na nasa Bible.
Hello po.
One of his letters was addressed to the Philippians, yung nakatira sa Philippi. And sabi niya doon, ano ko na lang dahil hindi ko maano exactly. If there is anything good, if there is anything beautiful, if there is anything worth emulating, if there is any good at all in this world, ang last example, think on these things. So what do you look for? The scandalous, the funny, the ridicule. What do you look for? What are you reflecting on? But I'm saying that at a personal level because I look at you as personal friends. Di ba? Next time, pa-absinin na ako ni June. I will be barred from the DepEd press conferences.
Thank you so much, ma'am, para sa ating closing.
Hello po.
Ay, sino po ito?
Si Dante po.
Ayun, ma'am, nakapasok si Dante ulit.
Opo, hindi ako narinig kanina. Habol lang po sana.
Sige, go ahead. Sure. Yeah.
Hello po.
Yes.
Yes, Dante, go ahead. You can ask your question now. Dante?
Okay. May hapon na Secretary at saka magandang hapon po sa lahat. Tanong ko na po, Secretary, itong siguro hindi ko na talaga ito tanong to nitong si dating Assistant Secretary po ng DepEd, si Mr. Emilio June Abilita. Ang tanong po niya ngayon, ang concern po niya, yung modules daw, paano po yung sino pong sasagot doon sa reproduction ng mga modules at saan na raw po ngayon, kumbaga, hello po?
Yes. Narinig ko. Tinanong na yan kaninang umaga pa yung mga tanong tungkol sa module. Siyempre, ang pamahalaan ang sumasagot sa cost ng mga modules dahil either sa national government or sa local government. Ang local government ang humahawak ng Special Education Fund, which is actually a national tax, part of which will go to education. So doon ang sagutan kung sino ang magsusponsor. At the end of the day, it is public funds. Now, kung kukulangin yung public funds, kung minsan mayroong school board, magkampanya sila, tumatanggap sila ng donasyon from the private sector, from institutions, pero ang ini-encourage namin, not so much as cash donations using my name or using a bank account, Pero kailangan may transparency. Kailangan malaman na halimbawa ng buong eskwelahan o ng buong organisasyon ng school board, kasi mayroon naman talagang school board which is composed of parents and teachers and officials para mag-decide sa mga ganyan. Public funds generally ang ginagamit. May mga donasyon, dalawang klaseng donasyon. Kung foreign, itong mahaba-habang lecture ito, you can get from the multilaterals. The multilaterals are owned by multi-owners, mga iba't ibang bansa, kagaya ng World Bank, kagaya ng ADB, kagaya ng UN, yan, mga multilaterals yan. Mayroon naman galing sa bilaterals, these are individual countries na nagbibigay sila ng tulong. Pero ang bulto niyan, ang kalakihan niyan ay talagang galing sa public funds. Pero kung isang multilateral magbibigay ng donasyon o pera, o isang bilateral magbibigay ng donasyon ng pera, pagpapasok na yun sa pamahalaan, public fund na yun. Dadaan na yun sa budget. Aaprubahan na yun. So, sa kabuuan, ay ang funding ng mga modules na yan, I'm very sure alam ni Assistant Secretary yan, na ang funding ng modules na yan are from public funds. At saka halimbawa, kung galing sa donasyon, kung ibigay yan sa pamahalaan, nagiging public fund na yan dahil you have to be accountable for it. So, ayun yung pinanggalingan. Kaya kung magdo-donate, mas mabuti to the organization itself, mag-donate sa DepEd, mag-donate sa PTA, mag-donate sa school board, kaysa mag-donate sa individual na teacher. Kasi siyempre, he or she will have to account for it, no? At siyempre, maiistorbo pa siya. So ayun, yun ang pinanggalingan. At palagay ko alam ni Assistant Secretary yan. Alam niya yun. Kasi kung galing ba siyang DepEd?
Dati raw pong ASIC sa DepEd.
Yes po,
dating nasa legal.
Legal pa. Di siyempre, alam niya ang batas. Nandyan yan sa legal, what is the definition of a public fund?
Hindi ma'am lahat.
Of a public fund?
Hindi ma'am lahat ng nasa legal alam ang batas.
Sige ka. Ano ba itong nangyayari ngayon? Masyado tayong masaya ngayon. Sige, may mga, klarong-klaro naman yan at saka you cannot spend, kung legal ka, alam nyo naman, you cannot spend public, ang isang pondo, legal, maging public fund yan, hindi ka makaspend ng public fund without the corresponding budgetary appropriation na hindi yan nako-cover. So therefore, dadaan sa DBM. So, kung wala yan, siyempre, tatanungin ka. Nasa konstitusyon pa yan na no public money, walang spending ng fund without the corresponding appropriation. Hindi ako abogado, pero sa aking kurso, which is business, may subjects kami sa law, at saka sa actual practice, alam naman natin yan. Sa public finance, alam naman natin yan. Pag hindi mo yan alam, music, babawiin ko yung grado mo. Oo. So that's it.
All right. Thank you so much,
Kung
ma'am.
gusto niya, I'll give him a free course on public finance. So, parang magandang review. At saka kung sinong gusto I used to give courses in public finance sa mga media people. How to read the budget, how to read appropriations, how a budget is prepared, taxes, and so on and so forth. Noon kasi hiningi nila yon para anyway, mukha atang nag-enjoy na ako, nagising ako bigla. Si Christian. Although pinapawisan si John. Next time, absent na ako. Kick out mo na ako sa klase mo, Jun.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And maraming salamat po sa ating mga media partners who waited for a few hours just to join us po dito sa national launching natin. Maraming salamat Secretary Leonor Magdolo-Espiones, ang ating mga miyembro ng EXECOM, ang ating mga inimbitang resource persons po mula sa iba't ibang paaralan sa buong bansa, mga kasamahan sa media, parents, learners, at lahat ng stakeholders. And I would like to repeat, ma'am, na pasalamatan yung ating mga media partners na walang sawang nag-live sa atin kanina. Medyo mahaba-haba ang listahan natin. Salamat po sa PTV, sa RTVM, PCOO, NBC13, Solar Learning, the Office of Senator Pia Cayetano, Office of Senator Win Gatchalian, PIA Central Office po, yung ating Philippine Broadcasting Service, Smart Telecom, Tirad Pass Radio and Television Broadcasting Network, DWAT, Planet Cable Community Channel, CLTV 36, One Media Pampanga TV 44, Radio Veritas, Romblon Cable, Oriental Mindoro Provincial Government, DZGN, Spirit FM 102.3 Sorsogon, Kabankalan Community Antenna Television Incorporated, yung ating Radyo Pilipinas Cebu, yung office po ni Congresswoman Loren Legarda as well, My TV Cebu, PIA Region 9, Camiguin Island Cable TV Corporation, Strong Radio, Cagayan de Oro, DXSA 105.5, Radyo Natin FM, Davao Occidental, PIA Region 11, MWEWS Radio, K37 TV Digos, Kakampi Multimedia Agency, Brigada FM, DXEJ 90.9, Yes FM, Tandag Radyo Birada, DXIM 93.5, Hope Radio, PTV Cordillera, and of course, DZRK Radyo Pilipinas Tabuk. So, muli maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga media partners sa buong Pilipinas na nag-live ng ating launching po ng ating school readiness program. So, dito po nagtatapos ang ating press conference sa hapong ito. So, kailangan nating ihanda ang ating mga sarili, ika nga, ni Secretary. Kailangan ihanda ang isip para ihanda ang sarili para sa bagong bukas. Ako po si Jun Arvin Godoy ng Public Affairs Service. Hanggang sa muli at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Handang isip, handa bukas. Salamat po.